So the focus on the latest episode of Spy Family was pretty much put on Yuri. Now Yuri is with the secret police and he actually had a mission to track this one guy down that was basically making, I guess you could say, propaganda. Now to set the setting, we know that Yuri, the secret police, and this whole show is set in the East, while the good guys, the people that Lloyd is allied to, is from the West. Now, we don't really know too much about the West, but the East kind of seems like they have an iron grip on everything. Although actual everyday life seems to be actually good in the East, it's all about the government and issues. So with Yuri being tasked to track down this guy named Perkins, at first I thought it was like, oh, okay, he's got to track this guy down because this guy is making an underground newsletter trying to say how bad the East is, and they're distributing it into the West. So the people that live in the West are like, oh my God, they're so vile, stuff like that. I thought, oh, okay, they just want to silence the guy for speaking the truth. Well, come to find out, this Perkins guy actually has been fabricating the truth just so that he can get paid and make money. And was very interesting what he did in this episode. Now, at first, Perkins seemed like a guy that was just an everyday guy, and he did nothing but kind of just go around, work, and do everyday things. Now, the problem came when he needed money for his rent. Now, the key is he's actually taking care of his father as well. And through his job, he's trying to provide for him and his father. Well, he decided to do this underground newsletter thing to get that extra cash, but he's definitely been fabricating because for example, these kids were just kind of going around, playing around, having fun, and they had a gun, a fake gun, because of the show Bond Man. It's the #1 show, spy show that all kids like, even Anya. He just takes a gun and throws it in the trash. So of course the kids are like, man, why do you do that? So they go in the trash, try to see if they can retrieve it. But then he takes a picture of them and is trying to be like, oh, poverty here in the East is so bad, kids have to scrounge into the trash can to get food. And then just absolutely stretching the truth, all out lies in general, just so in that way he can secretly ship it over and make money. Now, at first, we actually learned some humanity and growth out of Yuri. At first, Yuri, when he got the mission, he straight up was like, how dare this guy breathe the same air as my sister? But through the investigation and learning that this guy is trying to provide Perkins for his family and his father, that's his only motivation, you actually start to see Yuri try to, it kind of tugs at his heartstrings just a little bit, because the fact is, of course, he is tied to family as well, because as he deems his family is his sister, which we all know he has a sister thing, and he absolutely loves Yor. So once he recognizes that this guy is really doing the reasons why he's doing it, his motivation, you start to see a few things that Yuri does to kind of make it kind of relatable to this guy. One, when they went to capture him after they had the evidence, they didn't storm his building or storm his apartment. They waited outside until he got out. So then that way, not to disturb his father, who doesn't know anything that's happening here. And then yet again, when they were talking, the guy was like, oh, I'm with the government and you're a lapdog. We're both, pretty bad. And so Yuri was like, no, the difference between you and me is the fact that I don't try to make my family sad. And which is the problem with Perkins, because he's doing this fabrication. Yes, he's trying to make money, but by him doing that, he knows it's a dangerous job, and he knows by just lying like that could be an issue. He's doing it so he can make money for his father and, to live. So then that way his father, who's older, can at least have a shred of life, if you will. Another thing that Yuri did that actually was nice was after he was taken away, he basically told the Perkins like, hey, we'll check and see if we can have some assistance for your father, so then that way he's well taken care of and he has money and all this stuff, which he didn't have to do at all. And then Perkins is like, thanks, as they take him away. The way I thought of this was, in the future, what is to become of the actual show once secrets start being revealed? We know Yuri does this as a sense of duty. Now, of course, he does this as a sense of duty for his sister, because he wants to protect their home and the place they live, so then that way Yor has a good and well-established home that she can live with. While Yor does the same thing. She's an assassin to take care of Yuri as they were growing up and to be better and make sure that the place is a good place and they have money, so then that way she could take care of Yuri when they were younger. And those dynamics, they have a sense of duty, and then they also have a sense of family. My question is, in the long run, like when, you know, maybe it's the final season, the final few episodes, what's going to happen? Like, is there going to be something that happens to where Yuri is going to learn about Lloyd being Twilight and also learn about Yor being an assassin? And is he going to follow his sense of duty, or is he going to follow his sense of family and a love for his family? Is there going to be a moment where he warms up to where he wants to turn Twilight in, but because of Yor, maybe she's able to change his mind? So then they have this big climactic moment to where you start to see, even here, where that huge, stronghold fortress of a facade starts to crumble ever little, very small, and by the end of the show, maybe he actually warms up to Lloyd, or warms up to Anya, warms up to everyone, to where he actually has problems trying to turn them in and maybe even help them get away, or whatever the case may be. I can already see the breadcrumbs of that happening. So I'm wondering, like, okay, is this going to be the climactic moment at the very, very, very end? We shall see, because I don't know how many seasons this is, and I don't know how far we have to go until that. But in the essence, I will say this episode was a little bit weaker because, you know, we've had these side stories of what's going on with Yuri. Last episode we had what's going on with Damien. The Damien one wasn't bad at all, and this one wasn't bad, but it's not really progressing the story forward. Although it wouldn't surprise me if in a moment we're definitely going to get those episodes that will progress the story even further. Aside from that, there was a few things afterwards. They had a little small skit of Bondman, and here's like Bondman starts to pretty much get this harem going. And it's really weird. It's like, okay, he starts getting all these girls that really like him all around. And it's really weird for quote unquote like an everyday children's show, especially that does spies and such, that this guy just has a harem and is growing. And it's like, okay. And they try to be a little funny about that. And then they had some little things about Anya where she wanted to go to the pool, but then once she read people's minds that they were peeing in the pool, she didn't want to go to the pool anymore. And then, of course, being a child, she wanted to ride the little toys that's at the like mall, or, you know, little toys that you put the coins in and it kind of rides around and stuff. And, you know, small little moments. They're really insignificant in the long and short of it, but the biggest part was this about Yuri. And like I said, I really look forward to seeing how it pans out in the future, because it feels like that maybe that is what it's leading up to, but we shall see. In the meantime, I hope you guys enjoy the analysis, and make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you guys are subscribed for more analysis on this anime and several others on the channel as well. You guys be safe, take care, and Lord willing, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Make sure to check out the extra content on our Patreon page, and thanks to our current patrons.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.